Colts Talk, another signing for the Indianapolis Colts. A busy, busy day. Their third signing of the day. Cam Taylor-Britt is going to be in Indianapolis Colts. The contract details soon to come, but we are getting the initial reports that Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, will be reunited with Cam Taylor-Britt. There's a lot to break down with this one. This is a more recognizable name. It's a different situation. You also kind of secondary isn't like the biggest need for this team, but we'll break down how Cam Taylor-Britt can jump in and help the Colts, the former second-round pick. Is he going to play right away? Where is he going to play? Legal issues to get through before he gets to the Colts. Yes, a lot happening there. First things first, though, we like to welcome a new Colt to Indy by hitting that thumbs up button. Cam Taylor-Britt is now a Colt. Show him some love and hit that thumbs up button right now. All right, Cam Taylor-Britt, former second-round pick, Cincinnati Bengals. I would tell you, I've also done some work on our Bengals channel. This is a hot name over there. They were ready to get rid of him. However, this is free agency. Sometimes it's done with one team, new place, new face, here you go. And that's what's going to happen with Cam Taylor-Britt. He sustained an injury in Week 11, lower body injury. Never came back from that one. As soon as January, he had a driving incident that had him in jail for almost a week. So he's getting through the injury, then getting through that. And I think free agency for him must have just been, just let me get to free agency. And so he did. Not an elite corner, not a number one corner. The Bengals hoped and then found out that is not what he is. He is a solid addition, I believe, for the Indianapolis Colts. But I don't know, and we will break down where his spot falls in the depth chart that you just signed a starter, right? Once again, Chris Ballard loading up the roster with a solid depth piece that has NFL experience, right? He had played for the Bengals, played in big games for the Bengals, whether he's played at an okay level to not great level. I think he's somewhere in between there for the Bengals. Now, new face, new place, hoping things can get back on track for Cam Taylor-Britt. Grade the signing. How are you feeling about this one? A, B, C, D, or F? Cam Taylor-Britt headed to Indy. The Colts stacking up the secondary now. I don't know. If I saw another defensive tackle, I think I might have lost my mind. So I'm happy the Colts go out and get Cam Taylor-Britt. As I said before, break down the numbers, the stats, his effect on the Bengals overall. Solid, and they hoped for more, and over time it got worse. I think that's really what happened with Cam Taylor-Britt. Invested a lot in him, had high hopes for him, to the point really they never made huge moves in the secondary. They felt comfortable enough with him over time. I remember him sitting down with Kay Adams before the season, and the Kay Adams interviews, we know how they get, especially with Alec Pierce recently, but she was hyping him up. He was hyping himself up. Zach Taylor was hyping him up. Like, this should have been the breakout big year for Cam Taylor-Britt, contract year for Cam Taylor-Britt. Not the case. Yes, there was injury, but he was not playing overly great before that. This is the biggest case of, I hope with a new team, this is a guy who can get back on track. You're moving to a new city. You're with a new team. You like that he's with Lou Anarumo, right? You feel like Lou got the best out of him in Cincy at times. So he comes to Indianapolis. You're kind of looking for the same exact thing here. Get CTB on track in Indy. No pun intended with the racetracks. Like to see this in the secondary. Kind of just wanted to shore up that defense a little bit, get more options. We know Sauce missed some games last season, and you just don't want to have to move Kenny Moore around too much. I do really want to get into where Cam Taylor-Britt falls in the depth chart, which we will hear in just a second. I say solid. Thanks. Okay. These are all one-word reactions from myself. Now to you. One-word reaction to the Colts signing Cam Taylor-Britt. Get in the comment section down below and let us know. All right. The starting lineup, I actually really like the Colts secondary. I don't think I've hit on this enough. If Sauce Gardner's healthy, you love Kenny Moore. And despite back and forth, Travarius Mooney Ward has decided to come back from what we heard from Chris Ballard at the NFL Combine. Mooney Ward is going to return. I believe at this point in time, from what I've watched of Cam Taylor-Britt and what we know of Mooney Ward and Cam Taylor-Britt combined, really, this is not a starting spot that's going to be taken, right? Kenny Moore's your nickel. You like Sauce Gardner. I mean, boy, you like Sauce Gardner a lot, I hope, because you invested a ton in him. And now Mooney Ward, I still think is your cornerback too. Still has that spot. Cam Taylor-Britt, not only skill-wise isn't set to be your CB2, but I also think he has to earn that, right? With this organization, with this coaching staff, he has to come in and show the injury stuff is done, shenanigans are done. You have to get in that locker room and make yourself a part of the team. Again, you've had some good times, and I think Cam Taylor-Britt with a fresh setting hopefully can get back to work and back to being a good part of a team. I also kind of like the idea that it's not all on him, right? There's not this gigantic amount of pressure to get another contract, to make this defense. You know, there are a lot of players on the Bengals that a lot of people said, please make our defense good, and then they'd put it on one player. I know currently it's on Shamar Stewart. So Cam Taylor-Britt's a guy where that pressure was on him pretty consistently, and I think it's going to be a really, really good thing for him to get a fresh start and not be number one, even number two, but just, hey, we need you on this possession, this play. Let's get better at this before we get you back out there. Real opportunity for a guy who's not that old in the NFL to get things back on track and play an important part in the 2026 season for the Indianapolis Colts. This is a team going all in. And these are the type of signings I want to add that you see with teams like that, right? Derek Nottie has experience, has played in the NFL, has played for Super Bowl teams. You may see him as a depth piece. Well, it's a depth piece that's been a part of Super Bowls. Cam Taylor-Britt has played for competitive Bengals teams. He's played for bad Bengals teams, but he's played for competitive Bengals teams, and he's played a part in those Bengals teams. Chris Ballard's going out and getting guys that he feels or have experience and can play a role for your team. Now, look, play a role for your team, that doesn't always mean starter. It doesn't always mean backup. Sometimes it just means depth piece, filler, talent. You help out in some other way. Maybe they just like the idea of him being around the guys and showing the guys this, that, the other. Don't want to read too much into a guy that I think is cornerback 3, but I do want to give my stamp of approval on the Colts getting Cam Taylor-Britt from the Bengals. Now, today, overall, what an example of when you subscribe, we're on it, and you're going to get your notifications, you're going to get your videos, and you're going to get your free Colts content. That's exactly what we did today. We gave you free agent targets. News broke. We broke that news. More news broke. We broke that news. So we're glad to have you here on a brand new channel, but plenty of people subscribing right now to Colts Talk. We'd love to have you be a part of it. Closing thoughts here. I dare I say it because I said it earlier today. I think there's still more for the Colts to do here. But we said that this morning, and then we got 3 signings after that. Free agency definitely not over. The Colts still have probably around, as we wait for contract details, $30 million, a top 10 salary cap team. They can make moves if they want, continue to shore up needs, continue to shore up depth on this team. Haven't taken a giant swing yet, really, since the Daniel Jones signing, but I'm excited to see what's coming for Indianapolis.